Live from the Backend studios, this is the Backend podcast. Welcome to the Backend podcast, everybody, where we offer behind-the-scenes backend, if you will, advice and wisdom about growing your games and bringing your developer dreams to life. I'm your host, CodeBro29, and with me today is Roblox developer, YouTuber, and my co-host, VVSA Bro. How's it going, dude?
Hey, how's it going? It's amazing to be here.
Yeah, it's so great to see you guys. We are so stoked. This is the first episode of our podcast ever, so we'll see how it goes. We're just going to be fully honest with that. Before we get started, we're going to take a look and see who's with us in the chat. So I'm going to pull up the chat. How's it going, guys? Let's see. We have Quark here in the stream. What's going on? What's going on? Wave and Benjamin Diaz. Something I think. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Let's see. Masquerade is also here. Potato, Games with James, Red Max. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Today we are talking all about how to start out as a Roblox developer. And I know that many of you guys are already developers, but then there are also people who just want to start out, who don't know how to do that. So that is what we are trying to help you with today. We're going to give you some advice on how to grow and start out as a Roblox developer. So let's just get into this. One of the things that I'm going to hit on really quickly is you guys, as a starting developer, I know there's probably a fear involved in that. Just like with anything at all, when it comes to starting out. When it comes to starting out with anything, any new skill, there's always some fear involved. So I would just encourage you to push past that fear, regardless of it. I know it's going to exist, but the first step to starting is honestly pushing past that and just saying, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I know that that's easier said than done, but yeah, definitely just push through that initial fear and just tell yourself, I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're gonna be a Roblox developer, and I'm gonna make it. So that is my first piece of advice. Abro, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, for sure. Like Trevor said, just skip past that fear, and if you're still scared, you can start out taking commissions or working on other people's projects. You don't have to start out like a big game. And if you want to gain Robux or experience, that's a great way to do it. To help fund your game, your project, your passion. So yeah, you don't have to start out with a big game. You can start out by doing so many other things.
Yeah, 100%. You like Abro just said, you don't have to start out big. And I'm actually going to hit on that next. That's a great segue because I think that not only do you not have to start out big, I think you should not to start out big. As a starting developer, I think you really ought to start out small. And I know that can be kind of discouraging when you're starting out. You want to make the next Jailbreak, or you want to make the next Pet Simulator. I know that is a big temptation. That's something that you want to do. And that's where I started. I started and I wanted to make a game that was going to be on the front page. And to be fully honest, that just won't happen on your first game. When you're starting out, you need to start out small, and that's okay. I remember Alvin Blocks talking about this in one of his videos. Start out with something small, maybe something like a +1 every second sort of game. Those games take like a weekend to make, and so start out with a game like that. And start out with something small that you know you can finish in a weekend. That way you don't get demotivated, and you can actually bring your first game to completion. So that's what I would say. Abro, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I completely agree. Speaking of demotivation, if you work on a game that you aren't passionate about, say you want to make like a Pet Simulator Z, and you hate pets, then you're not going to want to work on that. If you want to work on a racing game, then go with the racing game. Even if you don't think it's going to blow up, it probably won't blow up. But if it's something you're passionate about, it's more of like I get to do this than I have to do this.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah. And we've been doing this thing for years. I've been scripting myself for over 5 years, so I know that it just is not logical to make a game that you're not passionate about, because you will get demotivated and you will lose interest, regardless of how hard you work. It's just not going to work out if you choose a game that you're not passionate about. So make sure that when you decide on your game, don't start out big, and also don't start out, or at any point, do not make a game that you aren't passionate about. And also, really quickly, before we hop into our next segment, I just want to say, start with one skill at a time. I know that it can be a temptation to learn everything. Scripting, building, modeling, UI, everything. You want to do it all at once. Start out with one thing. Like I said, I started as a scripter, and I've been scripting for 5 years. And now I can make great games with my scripting skills. Abro's been a builder, and he stuck to that. And so what I'm saying is, take it from us. Abro's a builder, I'm a scripter. I think that it's great to start out with one skill and stick with it. And I think that's also important, like we were saying about being motivated. You also want to be motivated with the skill you choose. So make sure it's something that you want to do in the long run, not something that you just think is going to make Robux. So that is my 2 cents on that. Abro, do you have anything to add before we hop into the intermission real quick?
No, I don't think so. I think you covered it. I think that practice is key. You can dabble around in the like, what do I want to do? UI building, scripting, modeling, stuff like that at the beginning. But I think you really need to stick to something that you enjoy or that you like pretty early on. Otherwise, you're gonna get demotivated. Like, oh, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
But, you're not good at one thing, but you're good at like everything else.
Yeah. And another thing, just quickly to add to that, is take a look at your real-world passions and see how you can add that to Roblox. For example, you guys probably know the YouTuber RoBuilder. He is such a great builder. I'm a huge fan of his channel, and he loves motorcycling in real life. That's his big passion. So he decided, I love making games on Roblox. I love motorcycling. Let's make a motorcycling game on Roblox. And I think that's such a great way to do it. So yeah, that's what we would say. Make sure that it is something you're passionate about and that you will stick with in the long run. Yeah, we're going to be taking your live calls, guys. And so just, yeah, we're going to be taking your calls to answer your developer questions in just a moment. So hang on through the intermission. We will be right back. See you guys in a few. All right, and we are back live from the Backend studios. How's it going, guys? If you guys would like to call in, we have open phones for you guys to ask developer questions. You can call the number on screen if you want to call in and ask a question. That's not specifically about how to code something, but any developer question. Maybe you want to learn how to monetize your game or something like that. You can just call in and ask that question. But to start out, I'm going to pass it on to Abro, and he's going to talk to you really quickly about making a team. Go for it, Abro.
Yeah, so assembling a team is super important because you can't do everything, especially at the beginning. Some people, some developers called indie developers, they do it all, but they are usually the most experienced. And at the beginning, it's super important to find a team, especially one that you connect with, so that way you all can work on the game, and it's going to be super helpful if you get a team early on.
Yeah, 100% agreed. And I also just think it's so much more fun, personally. It's
Agreed.
I really appreciate having a partner to make games with. I think it just makes everything a lot more fun, especially when that person you're making games with is passionate about the same thing as you are. So I think that it is a very important thing to assemble a team, and early on. I would say that regardless of whether or not you think you're going to go big with your games, I think that just having that team to work with is going to be super, super beneficial in the long run, because, I mean, think about all the big games that you play. For example, big games, the Pet Simulator group. They have a huge team of developers, and they honestly could not be where they are today if it was just one person doing all the work. I know that it can be daunting to assemble a team, but I think it really is important when making games. Abro, do you want to add on about practicing?
Yeah, practicing is super important, and especially practicing one skill that you enjoy. Like I said earlier, you need to find the skill that you like super early on, so that way you can get on that and get practicing and just expand your arsenal later on. But at the beginning, I think it's really important to find something that you enjoy and that you're good at. And like Kyber said, something in real life that uh, you are good at. So if you like building in real life, you're gonna like building on Roblox. They don't equate much, but it's a passion in real life. It's gonna be a passion in Roblox.
Yeah, 100%. All right, there we go. So if you guys would like to call in, you can call in at 954-627-1752. If you have any questions at all, you can go ahead and just make a call. If you hear a little boop, boop, that means that the lines are full, and we will move on to you as soon as we have room for you. So again, if you hear a little buzzing noise, that just means that our call lines are full. And just stay on the line, don't hang up, just wait, and you will be able to connect shortly. So there we go. You guys should be able to call in now. All right, I think that we have a caller. I am going to connect him through. Let's see, we have Red Max on the line. Let's see, we're gonna put you through. All right, Red Max, you are on air. How's it going, Red Max? Can you hear us?
Oh, hello, yeah.
You can. Awesome. How's it going?
Good.
Doing good. Awesome.
I have a question about, like, developing in general.
Yeah, go for it.
What's, like, what should you be able to do after, like, 1 year of scripting or, like, whatever, like, you know?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you're asking, like, what skills should you have after a full year?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's going to vary for everybody. I've said this before, but I was a very slow learner in terms of scripting on Roblox. Like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I would say I only got comfortable making full games after, I don't know, maybe a year and a half to 2 years. I was a really, really slow learner. But if you would like to, if you want to be kind of on the more advanced side, if you want to put more time and energy into it than probably I did, I would say I would really make sure that you know a lot about, after a year you should know about client and server scripting, the difference between that, because that's going to be crucial in any job. I would learn about some of the more advanced things like raycasting, which I believe that you already know a little bit about. So I think that you're already ahead of the game. And then I would also make sure that once you feel comfortable and you feel like you can make a full game on your own, scripting-wise, not with other skills, I would maybe consider after a year moving on to another skill. Not moving on completely, but also trying to learn something as well. Maybe you want to try and learn building once you feel comfortable with scripting. That way you can build and script and make a full game. That's what I would say. I hope that's helpful. Abro, anything to add? Sorry, say that again?
I think I might want to try, like, VFX to create, like, abilities, because that's kind of cool.
Yeah, VFX are a great way to go.
Cool.
Yeah, Abro, do you want to add anything?
Oh no, it's fine. But VFX is, I've tried. I never got to be able to do it because I'm just a little dumb. But it's fine because there's other things that I'm better in, like GFX and building. Everyone has their own thing. I cannot script very well. Kerber can't build very well. No offense, but I'm just saying. So everyone has their own thing. So if you feel like that's your thing, I think you really just need to like get past that fear and go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I would just look at some tutorials on YouTube for VFX because that is absolutely something that you could that you can do. It kind of combines scripting and other skills. So I think that would be a great thing to look into if that's something that interests you. So, hope that was helpful. Do you have any other questions for us?
I think that's all. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for calling in, and good luck to you on your developing journey.
Thanks.
All right, see ya.
Really think that after developing for a while, you eventually just get to the point where you're good enough, and then it's just easier to expand from there. Getting over the beginning is the hard part because you have all these bugs, you don't know how to do it. But later on, you know the different resources, where to go if you have bugs. Which, speaking of, there's a place in Cobra's server, Discord server. I think he has it linked on his channel. But you can ask questions there, and there's plenty of places where you can just find places to where if you have any questions or struggles, then you can go ahead and ask them there.
Yeah, 100% would use community. Like Abro said, you could join my server if you'd like to. It really doesn't matter where you go, but I would 100% use community because they have advice for you, and oftentimes they really do want to help you. Another thing, I think that you can also take commissions, but I think we'll get into that in a second because right now it looks like we have another caller coming in, and we are gonna put him on air. Chris is calling in next. Hi, Chris. I think you are live. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How's it going?
You know, I'm like one of your biggest fans.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. What can we help with?
Alright, so if you had to say like one simple game, like what's like one like simple game that can like make you see like for your first game, like what's one game that like you should make for your first game, like an obby or a tycoon?
It's a great question, and I think that also the answer to that will depend on your interests. But I would certainly say that it shouldn't, like we were just talking about, it shouldn't be something too hard. Preferably, it should be something that you enjoy, but also is fairly easy to make in maybe like a weekend or something like that. For example, like you said, you could go with an obby. If that is something that would interest you, I think that is a great way to go. I have an obby tutorial if you're interested in that. That is one way you could go. You could also try to make a simulator, but those are a little bit more complex. So my guess is if you're just starting out, and are you just starting out? Have you made any games before?
Yeah, I made a couple games before.
Okay, and do you script or build or?
Script.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I would say it's totally up to you what you choose to do. If you feel like you have enough knowledge, I would maybe try making a simulator if that sounds fun to you. But again, I would certainly choose something that would be fun for you. Make sure that you choose something that's not going to burn you out. We were just talking about that, how if you don't have, or if you're making a game that you don't enjoy, you're not going to want to stick with it. So I would, again, say make sure it's something that you enjoy. Maybe look at your interests in real life. Like we said earlier, if you're into motorcycling, then you could make a motorcycling simulator. That's just an example. Look at your interests and try and figure out, is there some easy game, maybe a simulator that I can make that works with Roblox. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Abro, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, for sure. If you're more experienced, I'd go with the more experienced games. The harder it is to do, it usually pays off the work that you do. And I'm not saying that you can't make an easy game. Like, if you make a game that takes like a weekend, it can't blow up. Plenty of people do that. But I'm just saying the more work you put in, the better it's going to be overall.
Yeah, I agree. I would say, again, just make sure you start. Find something that would be fun for you. maybe look at your interests and just start. Maybe pull aside a friend and say, hey, I'm trying to start a game. Do you want to help me with it? I think that's a great way to go. So I hope that was helpful. Do you have any other questions for us, or is that it?
Yeah, not really.
Awesome. Well, have a great day, Chris. Thank you so much for calling in, and good luck to you on your developing journey.
Alright, thanks. Have a good day too.
You too. See ya. All right. Cool. I think that if we have other callers, then we can still take them. Again, if you would like to call in, the number is 954-627-1752. And until then, I think we're going to take a brief intermission. If you would like to call in, again, the number is up at the top, and you can call in for any developer question, and we will see you guys after the break. All right, we are back in the Backend podcast headquarters, or studios, whatever you want to call it. Red Max is calling back in. Red Max called in earlier asking about what you should be able to do after 1 year of scripting, and he's got another question for us. Let's go ahead and put him on the air. Let's see, Red Max, you are live. How are you doing?
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Good, awesome.
I have another question.
Yeah.
How do you, monetize or, advertise your game? Because, the Roblox ads are kind of, expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. We were actually talking about this question before we even started the podcast. We figured that this would be something that people would like to know. So I would say there are so many ways to advertise your game organically without spending money that it makes Roblox ads almost not worth it, if you know what I mean. So what I would consider doing is, do you have a YouTube channel or a TikTok or Twitter?
I had a YouTube channel, but I haven't really posted a lot on it.
Yeah. Okay. What I would suggest, and this is up to you, I would suggest starting out by pushing your game out via social media. YouTube is a great way to do so. I made that video where I made an Apple Vision Pro in Roblox, and just from that video alone, I didn't sponsor the game at all, but the game got, I think, close to 80,000 visits or something like that, without any sponsor. So I would 100% put your game on YouTube, whether that's through Let's Plays or through trailers or whatever you want to do there. Another thing, I would definitely reach out to YouTubers. Maybe find their business emails and email them and say, hey, I have a game. I think it'd be awesome if you make a YouTube video on it. That is a great way to grow your game. Abro, do you want to add to that, especially the YouTubers part?
Yeah, for sure. And I really think that it's important on who you contact. If you contact a YouTuber who does, let's say, fighting games, like Tanker, and you ask him to rate your simulator, he's probably not going to respond or just going to say no. But if it's a good video idea for his viewers, because Tanker's viewers don't want to see him play a simulator. He just wants the views and a new video idea. So if a video idea is rate my fighting game, then I think he'd much rather do that than a simulator game. But all you can do is contact him, maybe add a special weapon in your game or something that's a tanker weapon, so that way he has a video idea.
Yeah. I think that's really key.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. I think that's really key. If you're going to reach out to YouTubers and ask them about playing your game, I would definitely give them incentives to do so. Like Abro suggested, having a special weapon for the YouTuber, or maybe you give the YouTuber an admin panel or something like that. That's up to you how you go ahead and do that. But if you do give them some sort of incentive, it will help them to actually want to play your game. And I would also, if you're going to reach out to YouTubers, I would do that in kind of a batch. And what I mean by that is I would not just send 2 or 3 emails to YouTubers. I would send a YouTuber to all the Roblox YouTubers that you want to see play your game. Because chances are most of them won't play it because they just are so busy. And they don't I've tried to reach out to YouTubers before, and it's extremely hard to do so. So I would definitely send to multiple YouTubers. So that's my advice. And then if you want to get into sponsoring via actual like Roblox sponsors, that's up to you. Personally, I think that there are other better ways to do it though. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you for calling in again. I hope that was helpful. And yeah, anytime. All right, I think we have another caller.
See you again.
Yeah, see ya. I think we have another caller coming in. But let's give him a few minutes to get prepared. Let's see. But I think that that last call was actually really helpful for honestly any developer. When you get to a point where you're going to need to get your game out there, once you finish a game, there's always that question: how do I monetize it? How do I get the game out to players? Because I mean, if you put hours and hours into a game and then nobody plays it, that's pretty discouraging. So I hope that advice was helpful to anybody who wants to make a game or who already has a game and wants to get it out. We do have a caller. Name, I don't know who this is. This could be Carrot. Let's put you on air, and you are live.
Okay. I'm live.
You're live. Welcome to the Backend podcast.
Alright, okay.
Do you have a question for us?
Yeah, I got a question. So, like, when I'm scripting my games, sometimes I just, like, don't find motivation to continue. So,
Yeah.
like, how do you suggest I stay motivated?
That's a really good question. Can I ask you, do you script games that you're passionate about? Like, what do you, are the games that you're making?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's probably more along the lines of burnout than having a game that you're just really not into. And I think there are a few different things you could do to help yourself stay motivated. Something that helps me is to set goals, not just say I'm gonna do some scripting today, but have actual real set goals, such as I'm going to get the shop done today, or I'm going to get the shop done by the end of the week. I think that that'll really help if you have goals, because then you have a deadline for yourself. I don't know if that helps you or not. That's something that helps me. Abro, do you have anything to add to that on staying motivated?
Yeah, I completely agree with what you say. I think the goals are supposed to be not like heavy goals, like I have to complete the whole map this week. Just light goals, and if you complete them, then hey, that's good. And if you think you want to do more, then you can always do that after. But if you set a deadline on when your game is gonna release, that's also a big thing, because then you can say, hey, it's releasing then, I have to do this by then. And I really hope that answered your question.
Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for that. Setting goals, I think I'll start doing that.
Awesome. Yeah, I would definitely start doing that. And it doesn't have to be, like Abro said, doesn't have to be big goals. Just something to help you get going. Well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate that. And I think that is that. Let's see. I think we're going to hop into one more intermission. And once again, if you do want to call in, you can do so. The number is 954-627-1752. So again, if you would like to call in, you can do so. We're going to go ahead and head to the intermission. This is the last intermission of the show, so make sure to call in so you don't miss out on asking your question. Because the next podcast won't be for another 1 to 2 weeks. So make sure you call in while you have a chance. All right, we'll see you guys after the intermission. Let's see, Red Max, you are live. Thank you for calling in again. Let's see, can you hear us? Whoops, can you hear us? Uh-oh, I think I'm on mute. How about that? Can you hear us now? There we go. Sorry, I don't think you could hear us. I think I was on mute. What's your question for us?
I have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh wait, let me pause the YouTube video there.
Oh yeah, no worries.
My last question is what's your very first game, full game you made?
That's a really good question. Abro and I will both answer that question. For me, I did have several small projects that I tried to do, but I do remember that the first game I sponsored, I finished and ended up advertising, that was a game called Tower Tycoon. That game was horrendous. If you want to play it, it's on my profile, but it is the worst game that you will ever play. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you walk up to a character called Blobby, and he's just this green blob that you talk to, and he gives you a code to go do work where you make money, and then you can use that money to build tower stories, and you literally just build your tower higher and higher, and that's it. There's no point to the game. So that was my first game that I actually advertised, and I was so shocked that game ended up with a 30 to 40 like to dislike ratio. But now I see why. Now I understand why. Abro, what about you?
Yeah, my first game, I wouldn't really call it a game. It was, I took some free models and a Roblox base plate, and I just put a few weapons on there. It didn't even work. And then I recolored the base plate. I called it Weapon Simulator. I don't know what it was. And then I tried to hire somebody for 3K Robux to code it out for me. But
did you ever finish that game?
The first game I really made was a game I made with Cobra, Sword Fighting Simulator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember that game. Yeah. Well.
Wait, how old were you guys when you made your first game?
Gosh, I don't remember. I do remember I was still in middle school though. I don't remember how young I was though. Probably between 12 and 13, really maybe 11 to 13, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly, but I did start pretty young. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Do you have any other questions for us, or is that it?
I think that's all.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for calling in again. Really appreciate all the calls. All right, we have Penguino with a question now. Let me put you on air. Penguino, you are live. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Hello.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm good. You?
Doing pretty good. What's your question for us? How can we help?
Okay, so my question is, so I'm making a simulator, and it's I'm just running out of ideas, because I don't want to make it all every other simulator.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to, yeah.
Yeah. So you're wondering how to get ideas for your game, basically?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, awesome. Do you have, so you said you're already making it. Do you have a start on the game at all, or are you, are you still in the idea stage?
No, I have a start, yeah.
Okay, cool. So do you have a basic theme for your game, or are you planning to change that if you can come up with more ideas?
I mean, it's basically Candy Simulator, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So if it's a Candy Simulator, I think that I have not actually seen a Candy Simulator, so that might do well. I think that, but if you are wondering how to come up with more ideas, something I would suggest, we talked about this a little bit earlier, is look at what you're passionate about in real life, off the computer, and just see, hey, what am I passionate about? Am I passionate about, maybe you're passionate about baseball, and then you can make a baseball simulator, or maybe you really like to watch TV, so you make a TV watching simulator. It's up to you, but that's something I definitely would do, is look into your interests, and then I would also see what is kind of trending on the Roblox space, and see if you can kind of combine those. So if let's just make a random example. If you're into baseball and you see that fighting games are trending on Roblox, maybe you could make a baseball fighting Roblox game where you, I don't know, hit baseballs to defeat other players. I don't know. That's just a random example. But that is something I would do, is I would just take a few minutes and write down with a piece of paper. I would write down your passions, what you're interested in, and see how you can turn that into a Roblox game. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, Abro, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I really think that seasonal items are especially important. Like, you know those candies that for Valentine's Day, like those little heart candies?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are important if it's like Valentine's Day time. Obviously, it's already passed, but seasonal items are really good for updates. And if you plan to release it during Halloween, which would be smart, but that's a while away, then make something Halloween themed. Or, like, people really get excited for the seasons or the, or the holidays. So I really, gear it towards that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think that holidays are a huge place to get your game polished. So, yeah, does that answer your question? Do you have any other questions for us?
Yeah. No, I do not. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, you're very welcome. Good luck to you on your developer journey, and have fun with it, man. And hopefully I will...
Yeah, I will.
Awesome. I look forward to playing Candy Simulator when it's out. All right. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Goodbye.
All right. Awesome. Well, I think that probably is going to wrap things up. What do you think, Abro?
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Awesome. Well, I think that is it for all the calls. Unless if we get another caller within the next few seconds, you guys, this is your very, very last chance. If you would like to call in with a question, 954-627-1752. And we will be doing another stream with another podcast, hopefully in 2 weeks. Is that what we said?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. All right. So, once again, if you would like to call in, last chance, 954-627-1752. All right. Thank you to everybody who called in. We're going to switch to our last segment, and we are going to read off. Let's see. Let me switch to the main screen. We're going to read off. We like to have a verse of the day in our podcasts. I know that maybe you aren't religious, but we just like to include this as a way to close out our podcasts. Today's verse is Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. And I think that maybe as if you're not a religious person, maybe you're kind of tensing up right now, but that's okay. Just you can relax. We're not trying to shove this down your throat. We're just putting this out here, and we. Well, I think that regardless of whether or not you're religious, I think that this is very wise to live up to a higher standard. This verse says to work for the Lord, so we are Christians, so we believe that we are working for the Lord. But maybe if you're not religious, this can still be wise for you in that you can still live and work with integrity and fairness and goodness. You can do all these things to make sure that your work is at a high standard. So that's what I would say. Just make sure that all your work is done to a high standard, because as we believe, we are working for the Lord. Abro, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like you said, all your work is done at a high standard. Even if you don't think your work is important, do it to the best you can. Don't settle for good enough. Like, give it your all. Remember, you're working for a higher standard, not just I guess higher than the rest of the world, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. So again, we're not trying to shove this down your throat or anything. This is just a way we like to close out our show, and we hope that spoke to you. So once again, before we wrap things up, Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. All right, that is going to wrap up the podcast for today. We really, really appreciate everybody who called in and tuned in. We're going to have another one very soon, hopefully within the next, I think, 2 weeks. So thank you guys for everybody who tuned in. Really, really appreciate it. And we will see you guys in a future podcast. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.